when the full moon comes out into full bloom, then the werewolves start prowling the grounds. Or at least in this case, a giant armed militia of secret undercover bodyguards all prowling the countryside to kill people with a goddamn syringe to the neck. Oh boy, that's neither here nor there now, isn't it? It's all the same. Well, hello everyone! My name is Mitz, and here we are back at Higurashi When They Cry, here for the 8th and final installment of the series. We got most of our answers for the mystery of the series all in Minagoroshi, but mostly, the most important bit is we technically now know who the main culprit is of the entire thing. Well, besides the rest being a bit of like going to her little lapdogs, honestly. But out of everyone, it's Mio Takano, the one of the victims who almost every loop has gone missing and sort of faked their own death in body, honestly, for every single installment in Loop, except for the very first one. And it's actually, I just gotta say that well, I do have slight small grievances, mostly just how I mentioned before, honestly, if what was it? I guess the grand conspiracy becoming too grand, which I mentioned before. Like, that's one thing, it's technically just a nitpick, or just, like, a thing I don't like on my end, when things get too grand in scale, honestly, or at least, it's not tied in too personally to, the main characters, I guess, main conflict, or the, like, central draw of the story. Technically it feels like my brain has to like sort of now encompass a giant larger scale universe to inherit that, and with them more political undertones and all that, yeah, that's gonna do a lot there, like trying to do this little interweb of things, especially you can brought the entire like last hour's worth of the finale for Minagoroshi being how it affects literally like the nation of Japan itself, the prime minister and then the ministry of defense and all that jazz all going down to that secret project. It's a lot. It's a lot to like. It's a lot of process. Even still now, several days after like finishing recording that, and my dear God. And I will say a lot of things I like about the last installment. Honestly, just like not even just the fact of Marika, like I'm exploring Rika's whole entire loop thing, and also like introduction of Hanya. Well, technically formal, like actual first informal introduction. She's been there ever since the very beginning, honestly. Especially with the first words that even Keiichi hears is her basically apologizing to Keiichi for going to the funeral, which is details not expecting, and I love that. I love that small detail. Plus, I actually like how they tie up Rika's misgivings about I guess how pointless it is trying to get out of a loop which she feels like she can never get out of. Going corresponding along with Sadako, who she's been living with and is her best friend, honestly, and helping her get out of the situation of Teppei's Teppei Hojo like reappearance, honestly, and how literally even the third installment, it did feel like no matter what any of the characters did, short of absolute murder, it was never going to change, honestly, until let everyone decide to make a giant band together, honestly, where everyone like remembered small bits and pieces of their, I guess, their flaws and like mistakes they made in the past, and all come together. Honestly, it's a nice message. It's nice. It's nice. Also, going to the whole thing of like Hanya not believing in all of that, and she's been around longer than Rika. Honestly, that's another cool thing. Honestly, it's nice. It's nice. It goes a tiny bit to friendship and the power teamwork and stuff like that. A bit cheesy, but it's really fun. It's really fun. But the one misgiving I have is Hanyo. If you had this power of stopping time and you only do it on Keiichi, why do you not do it more often? I knew there was some secret power around Keiichi and stopping time, but you only give it around him and no one else. Ugh, how dare you? How absolute dare you? But honestly, like Mio Takano's, I guess, some final, I guess, send off for like slowly killing everyone off. Literally, agonizingly, like horrifyingly, just really taking a shot at Keiichi into the stomach, and then slowly just egging everyone else on before she sends them off to into the afterlife, basically. And Rika had resolved to actually stay awake longer just to experience a ritualistic death. My good God, actually, that's kind of terrifying anyway. She like wants to remember everything else, all that for the next loop. Or at least, even if Rika doesn't remember all that, which I wouldn't entirely blame. No, not entirely. No, I wouldn't blame her at all if she forgot about it, because even with him just being suddenly jumped and core formed, like even if she remembers like all that from the ritualistic murder honestly being split open like that, that's traumatizing. I wouldn't blame anyone for trying to forget that or their mind literally forgetting that at all. At the very least, hopefully, like, Rika either remembers it or, like, remembers quickly more this time, or Hanya literally just, tells her that it's Mutakana the entire time. And here's a little fun, different thing you can do this time, Rika. When everyone comes together for a club meeting, slam your fist down the desks, then, proclaim to everyone that, you have a new club activity today, and just say, I'm stuck in a time loop. Mutakano is our enemy, and we gotta stop her from everything happening. What's the reward? Well, guess what then? You'll get a whole thing of fucking wine suck I keep hidden inside my house. Shut your trap, Sadako, right now. And whoever wins gets my entire stash. Is everyone in? Good. Okay, now clap. Let's break. Oh boy. It's all gonna go down to everyone trying to figure out their best to figure things out. It's probably just the like besides everyone like not coming together to believing all that. Also, probably the whole reason why the whole plan failed last time was because yeah, they all figured it out like the day before, literally or think even the afternoon, honestly, that Rika dies, honestly. That's gotta be something to think about, honestly. I think it literally was the same exact day Rika figured it out. Oh my good god, that's not enough time to plan at all. At that point, she didn't think she could do anything, although she never actually technically told anyone the loop then. Maybe she had the past no believed her, but hopefully now again, everyone does. Hopefully so. Let's see how it all transfolds. I swear the difficulty is not extremely hard to cap off this entire series, then are you even trying anymore? Matsuri Bayashi. Festival accompanying chapter. At least let it end with a blissful dream. The riddle you have been entrusted with solving now finally comes unraveled. What must be done to stop the chain? And what will happen to the ultimate end? It's a showdown between the conclusion you reached and the one I've reached. There's no difficulty. You should understand that by now. But I want there to be goddamn difficulty. I gotta win this. You know, it's always a game. Life is a game, right? Not always. Don't take that hard. But still. Everyone is entitled to happiness. The difficult part is accepting that. Everyone is entitled to happiness. The difficult part is fulfilling that. I, too, am entitled to happiness. The difficult part is working out a compromise. So, Rika, what do you do when you first gain knowledge about the loops? You slam your fist on the desk and start rambling to everyone. Good, we got the plan. Okay. Now, what is this place? The study was filled with piles of books and papers. In that study was a full-figured old man writing something at his desk in utmost concentration. There was also a little girl sorting out papers on the carpet. She almost looked as though she was playing with them. Make some origami with them. The serious expression she was wearing made it clear that she wasn't. Serious origami. Oh. Miyoko. Huh. Grandpa, I'm done sorting them out. Oh my god, it's a Fumi T! The Takano! My god. It's a whole entire spanning secret cult then. My god. What was it's been a few days. What was it called again? It was literally just the group's called Tokyo. That's not confusing at all. Thank you. Let's see. What happened? Look, there are lots of people with the same symptoms. It's way higher than the national average. Oh my god, she's goddamn reading through them. She's like playing, what was it, Plague Incorporated, that mobile game, but now this time on a real life global scale. Look, Grandpa, our plan is working. Are you proud of me? Yes, honey. You started the plague right where you said it would, and now look, it's spreading to everyone now. I'm proud of you. We'll get a cookie later. Yay! God. That's exactly what I expected. There's intriguing treats over here, too. Discusses psychosurgery and civilization. Psychosurgery, never heard that term before. It also predicts the existence of parasites that inhabit the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is what causes emotions. That's right. Emotions aren't created by the heart. They're just side effects of the chemicals secreted by the organ known as the brain. Is this the first time she's learning all about this? Okay, what a way to learn. If parasites capable of acting like organ didn't exist and spread to create a colony, then that colony's thoughts would be unified. So are parasites the cause of the spread of ideology? When ideologies clash, is that because different parasites are competing to expand their habitat? That, or, well, to expand religion, to expand national borders, or to expand a race. Expand a race? It's hypothesized that our differing cultural communities and their conflict are the result of parasites influencing human thoughts. That's, certainly a take. There are people in other countries that think the same thing as you, Grandpa. Well, of course there are. The Ruffles here. We gotta seek those people out, honey. We'll make an entire call to kill everyone else off. Don't worry about it, except for us. There are countless parasites on this earth, and it's well known that some coexist with their hosts and some control their hosts. We've also discovered plenty of parasites that infect humans. Yet despite that, we adamantly deny the possibility that parasites can infect humans and control their hosts. Even the hypothesis is such a thing. Why do you think that is? Humans aren't special in any way. How dare you not think you're not special, huh? Because the hypothesis would also mean changing our view to see the spread of ideologies from the perspective of epidemiology. The conflicts in ideology can be resolved through debate, then they're peaceful. When those conflicts occur epidemiologically, they become frightening, because it's now done on a biological level, so how can you fight that off except biologically, then it's dead, so. And if one were to treat bad thoughts the spread of culture as an epidemic, you're almost equating it now to like I guess depression and those kind of thoughts now, but biologically, not chemically. Think about the Black Plague in Europe during the Middle Ages. A vile, infectious disease spread. They forced infected people into hospitals and didn't release them until they completely recovered. Some even died in those hospitals. Some, I think, a lot. They burned their corpses. They confiscated and burned everything those patients touched for fear the plague infected it. They even suspected families' infection and forced them into hospitals. Yay, fun times. So they hospitalize healthy people over individual ideas? You're equating these, really, big all this. Okay, you're just equating ideology with, epidemiology now with the diseases. Okay, this is, I think your metaphor and, an analogy is getting way out of hand in this kid's mind to film me. Stop. Please stop. Please stop right now. Replace an idea with a disease. The rest is the same. Patients won't be released until they completely recover. People burn everything that they may have touched by the patient. They force the patient's family to go to the hospital. Okay. People are free to think what they will, right? Thoughts aren't pests. Well, if an idea was created by parasites, it wouldn't be exactly the same as a plague. In other words, an idea is like an incurable epidemic. So what would you call, I guess, a normal, nice thought in the breeze, then? Something bad? You can't have good thoughts, then? So you mean anyone with a different idea is treated like they have a disease? Do you have a different idea than your grandpa, Miyoko? Because you do, then you're goddamn perfect, and we gotta cure that from you. That's right. If we bring this to its logical conclusion, parasites could be responsible for mass murders of people belonging to different races or religions. But this can be seen as justifying genocide. Therefore, talking about parasites and brains has been taboo since the war. What does taboo mean? It means tobacco. It means something people shouldn't get involved with. That's why nobody researches these things. Nobody even remembers anything about parasites that live in the brain. They assume that parasites which control humans simply don't exist. It's almost funny. How can they prove something that doesn't exist? That's just impossible. Exactly. Proving the devil exists is easy. You just have to show him to someone. But you can't prove he doesn't exist. You can't show somebody something that doesn't exist. Or there's photographic proof that that person didn't exist at that time and place. It's almost as if the parasites in their brain are controlling people so that they can keep their own existence a secret. Me and my grandfather shared a happy laugh together. Oh, this is your perspective. Oh, yay. What a happy, fun time this is in a musty, dusty old study here, reading over big old biological genocides almost. Humans are simply another animal in this natural world. Might be the top of the food chain, but it's foolish to think that we are superior to others. Humans can be controlled by parasites. I mean, just because the existence of such parasites hasn't been proven doesn't mean they don't exist. They exist. You say that with such certainty. I know they do. Again, you say it with such certainty. But can you prove they do exist then? That's happened before in the scientific world, right? That's right. Not all scientists are recognized for their work while they're alive. There are many who were ridiculed and couldn't prove their theories to be true, and then only years later, when people got out of their stubborn mindsets, they actually realized, oh shit, this guy was right the entire time. Oh good god, there wasn't. I need to watch this one video from Vsauce too. Talking about one person who actually did everything right to I guess be hygienic and all that. Try to put those rules in other hospitals. But one reason or another, he was sentenced to death for it. I need to watch that now. My gosh, I can't believe I've been putting that off for a while. This could have been perfect right here to talk about or think about. Oh well. But Grandpa, I hope your theory will be recognized before you die. Otherwise, it'd be so sad. Don't worry. God doesn't ignore people who work hard. What about those scientists who work their butts off and they still didn't get recognition then? Hard work always pays off in the end. Well, I guess after they're dead, but still. But when will that happen? Well, nobody knows when God is going to descend from heaven. Just like you never know when you'll be robbed. I thought you were gonna make like a cutesy little remark to the girl, but no. It's like the equivalent of just saying like nobody knows when God is gonna descend from heaven. Just like you never know when you'll get stabbed in the chest in the middle of the night. That's what it felt like to me. Sudden. So we always have to be alert and ready, even when we're goddamn sleeping. So that we don't miss our chance of not being stabbed in the goddamn lung. That was something my grandfather said all the time. Nobody knows when efforts will bear fruit, but it will happen one day. To spread those seeds around anywhere else. Sometimes they are completely sterile, and some of them lead to other fruits which had even more seeds. It's gonna be a long chain of cycles. That's why you must always work hard, so you have no regrets when the time comes. Your efforts will bear fruit someday. That's what he meant. But is it going to happen before you die? Even though there are so many scientists whose work weren't recognized while they were alive? That's such a cruel thing to say. I didn't mean to be cruel. I had seen how hard my grandfather had been working, and I also knew he wouldn't live forever. I just wanted his work to gain recognition before he died. Do you know the resurrection of Jesus Christ? Okay, we went from epidemiology and disease to hardcore the origin of the Bible and all that now. Yeah? He was crucified and resurrected after 3 days. Tell me about it. How do you think Jesus was resurrected? Didn't he just get up as if he was waking up in the morning? Well, a step before that. He was buried after his execution. His body was in the ground. I thought it was a cave, or just a popular way to look at it. Did he break open the tombstone and crawl out like a zombie? No. That'd been kind of sick, though. That wouldn't be called a resurrection. The sinners who killed Jesus imagined exactly the same thing. Jesus predicted just before he was executed that he would come back to life after 3 days. Exactly. The sinners buried Jesus, sealed his tomb, and posted guards to watch over it. But what Jesus meant wasn't that he would resurrect physically. He meant his teachings would be resurrected. After 3 days, Jesus' teachings were resurrected, and people regained their belief. The hearts of those who wanted to be shown the proper way revived his teachings. I thought it was that he, came back to life, though. I thought it was. Well, now I'm just sitting here not wondering about that because it's been years since I was taught any of this as a kid. And all my questions were completely and utterly glossed over. My good gosh. And that's what the resurrection of Jesus is all about. He came back to life in the hearts of his believers. I mean, Jesus doesn't exist physically in this earth, but he exists in people's hearts. In other words, that's when Jesus became an existence superior to humans. Even if it's after the author's death, as long as his work receives a fair evaluation, it will live again as a great achievement. A legacy, I'm assuming that's where you're going with. Even my body's gone by then, my life will return receive recognition. Okay, that's the way you're gonna put it. Okay. Does that mean you'll become a god just like Jesus did? Indeed. My research will be recognized for what it is someday. That's when I will become a god. Yes, by worshippers. That's why I'm not in a rush to achieve that recognition, but I thought you said hard work pays off in the end. I don't know when that day will come. God doesn't know that either, but the day will come. That's why I need to continue to work as hard as I can. It was very sad to hear my grandfather say that his life would end one day. He wasn't ill, and he didn't only have a few years to live, but set next to the average lifespan, his remaining years didn't look like much. At least I mean now that, is this, like, we're gonna, I guess, learn more about, I guess, more about the dog's ideology from this then, and I guess by extension, Mio Takano's then, by extension as well. Well, like, she, like, has heard about it from her own families, I guess, in books and all that, and, like, her parents' teachings and all that. I guess that's where she got her goddamn apparently god complex then, whether she got it from her parents teaching her all stuff like that, or hearing her own self. Yeah, I think that's where the whole thing comes of she instigated him. I guess, oh yeah, sure, someone's curse all over again. It comes from, honestly, and it's not. It makes it even more overt. She's a fucking god complex as well, with making her like literally just wave around an imaginary baton. Honestly, that's like, you can't get any more explicit than that. Unless you give him let just get let us turn from a window, honestly, just have holy light come down on her from the framing. That's the only other way, honestly. Or she starts floating into the air. How else do we explain that? How else? He wasn't ill. He didn't only have a few years to live, but set next to the average lifespan, his remaining years didn't look like much. The only person left in my life was my grandfather. So I didn't even want to consider what it would be like with him gone. Grandfather must have remembered that I didn't like to talk about the subject. With a tender smile, he gently patted my head. Of course. I want research to be recognized before I die. I will do my best. Yep. I'll do my best to help you too. I purposely didn't mention the before you die part. That's sensitive and graceful. Good. I caught myself before I said it. Thank you. That makes me very happy to hear. Grandfather smiled in satisfaction. His research wasn't exactly outrageous. He wasn't trying to uncover the mysteries of the universe, or is he going to equate his own research to being the whole thing of that one scientist and researcher who proclaimed the dastardly idea that maybe Earth isn't the center of the universe after all, not even the center of our solar system, but actually it's the sun. And everyone's stoned him for it and exiled him for it. Is that he was going to compare himself to, honestly? He's only searching for the possibility that parasites could be responsible for human behavior. Nothing more than that. I guess by its own self, I guess, is a way to, I guess, like, experiment and see more how the brain works. But even now, we technically don't know, I guess, the entire thing of neurology, honestly, from what I completely heard about. In my little knowledge about it, again, I guess pure hard medical science, honestly, is not my forte. So I just have medical rumors to think about, and from what I heard, honestly, medical rumors. That's not a sentence I would ever say out loud. Never thought I would anyway. Nothing outrageous. Not that outrageous yet. It really wasn't a wild idea to you. We even had some leads. Oh. Well, that makes sense. Well, Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone City, Blank Prefecture. The villagers there are possessed by a powerful homesickness. I thought you were like, I just saw possessed and immediately just brain went to demons again. And like, my good god. I still have it in my brain, honestly. I'm still sad they didn't continue all that, because that's still like a fun analogy, honestly, to use. When they were unable to return, they allegedly behaved abnormally, as if they are cursed. There are also some bizarre rules in place in the village, based on their belief system. When he was working with the military during the war, my grandfather noticed similarities between the people in Hinamizawa and assumed that some kind of existence was responsible for their odd behavior. He'd been researching it ever since then. I guess it kind of makes sense because that's when most people in the town when I come back, honestly. It'd be the, I guess, most extreme cases, honestly. And I can't remember. Did they ever say like bigger, broader in terms of like, you know, besides homesickness? Honestly, they probably did, but I'm blanking. Honestly, like something besides just normal, I guess, antsiness of homesickness. Honestly, something way much more irritability, stuff like that. But you would just like kind of attribute that to depression, or just like all because of homesickness again. So was it something bigger than that that people noticed, or at least he did? In the middle of the 20th century, numerous strange diseases were discovered all over Japan. Most of them were caused by infectious parasites, and people started to pay attention to this forgotten field of study. Grandfather's research was simply one of those investigations into such diseases. Therefore, he believed it would be published amongst other research and obtain recognition soon. But if his research didn't bear fruit before his death, I wanted to continue it. I want to continue his research. Grandfather taught me. Resurrection isn't something that happens physically. It's when your life's work is appreciated. That's what he meant by resurrection. That's when he'll become my god. Okay, so this was passed down the family. Okay, gotcha. My first instinct is that he was just trying to say that in terms of like legacy, but he used a long analogy. And if the stick gets even harder into your brain, if he dies shortly after this, it'll stick in your brain forever, and you teach it down to your children. That's an unfortunate small chain of events leading down the family tree. Oh boy, the goddamn seed to bear fruit, and the apple fell from the tree to the next person. Then God. So my grandfather dies, he'll still be with me forever. I won't have to be alone ever again. I'll always be with my grandpa. Our works will gain recognition, and we both become gods, getting eternal peace. I will make my grandfather into a god. Okay, and in totality, it sounds horrible, but here it sounds nice, but we know the future, so stop it! I will become a god. Okay, stop right there, just in the way how you phrase that. Stop right there. Therefore, we will be granted eternity. We'll be together forever and ever. Granted eternity. It went from bad phrasing to a new parasite of ideology, since you put it that way. How nice. Oh boy, is this a prison? Is this a goddamn police station? Oh my gosh, I just also remembered. Unless the game is never going to bring up Satoshi ever again, or at least hint about it, I wonder if they're going to talk about it ever again. Like, if they're actually going to verify what happened then. I guess even the person who took the technical fall for Satoshi. I wonder why, like, if they had anything to do with that, honestly, in some capacity. And if they managed to make how they managed to make the guy look like he died from choking on a spork. I was looking at the key in a keychain. The key was labeled Henhouse, but the lock Eriko was trying to open didn't belong to that door. Eriko? And Henhouse? This is not a farm, but are you the fox and this is supposed to about to enter the henhouse? It should have opened effortlessly. It was actually a trick key, actually. This fox is not going to enter the henhouse this soon, honestly. To break another way, you trickster, sly, devilish creature. It should have opened effortlessly. At least that's what's supposed to happen. It didn't open. I noticed beads of sweat forming on Eriko's forehead. Oh, it's a dual fox team. She was the one that came up with this idea. Eriko was starting to panic. The rest of us started to panic too. Oh, it's a group thing now. This only opens the henhouse. Let's stop. Let's go back. Shh. We're supposed to be cleaning out the henhouse. In this industrial area, looks like, unless it's supposed to be like for I guess like a actual large scale farm, like I guess where they keep cows and all stuff like that. Like maybe, like sort of slaughterhouse or something like that. I don't know what's an industrial form of a farm, so that goes to the extent of my knowledge. If they found us back here, they found out why we were here and why we were trying to open up the lock to the back door to escape. Where the fox is trying to escape from the hen house. That's a twist. Then all four of us were sure to be sentenced to Splayed Piggy. Splayed what? Don't panic, Eriko. Don't panic. You're making me panic. The key opens this lock, right? You already tried it, right? Will you shut up for a minute? This is the right key. It's just hard to open, that's all. She was almost shrieking. Our hearts were pounding loudly, as though the sound of her heartbeats was echoing throughout the hallway. At that point, we heard footsteps that didn't belong to a child. Shush! Somebody's coming! Hide in the lockers, right now! The three of us held our breath, but Erica didn't hear it. Okay, it's the third person we don't know yet. She kept fussing with the lock and the key, as if everything would be okay if she just opened the lock. Erica, somebody's coming. Be quiet! I know this is the right key! I'm not dreaming. I already tried and it opened! Come on, why isn't this working? This lock is open, we can be happy. We can say goodbye to this hell. Erica, someone's coming! Oh my god. What's higher and more powerful than a fox? My father and mother died. I don't know exactly how old they were. I was too young to remember. I'm assuming we're in Rika's point of view then. I wonder where that last area was meant to be then. The quote-unquote hen house, but apparently that's meant to be, I guess, the way to escape, honestly. Or like it was like some sort of nursery or also like that, or like it's too industrial for all that, so lab? That's the closest thing I can think of everything's happening, honestly. And why was, like, Miyoko apparently also being, I guess, was trying to get through will then? And it's supposed to be Fumi T, so, Is Miyoko meant to be, I guess, like, Mio's sister? Or, like, a family then? Or what if maybe Mio Takano was actually, I guess, a child of, I guess, I guess the grandfather's kids, honestly. That still makes him, a whole thing. I was trying to remember. They went shopping without me, and that must be why they were punished. It was a train accident. Oh, whoa. What a terrible disaster. A lot of people died in that incident. But maybe my father was one of the lucky ones. He was still alive when he arrived at the hospital, so he was able to share his final words with me. My mother died instantly. Daddy? Daddy! Daddy, 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 daddy! I didn't want to admit to this person I could hardly recognize my father. As I called out to him, I hoped that it was someone else instead. But, unfortunately, it was my father. Maybe I shouldn't have woken him, because when I woke him up, he was reminded of the miserable agony that he had forgotten. Oh. Daddy? 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 Daddy! He tried to move his right arm so he could pat my head, ruffle the hair. But his arm was wrapped in bandages and his hand was no longer there. I couldn't find his hand anywhere in the bed. Oh. That's how bad the accident was. Oh god. I only had scary memories of his right hand. Its main job was to slap me when I did something bad. Oh. I never wished to be gone. Besides, the hand also patted my head, even though that only happened a few times. I'm taking what your dad did with a grain of salt now. It was a big, warm hand. It stroked my head very gently. But no matter what good deeds I did, he could no longer rub my head. No. His hand was the least of his worries. He had to go into emergency surgery. The doctors already warned me that my chance of him surviving is very low. That was why I was allowed to see him, regardless of his condition. Not only could he no longer rub my head, he may be gone forever. Daddy, the surgery will make you better, right? Daddy, you'll get better, right? Right? Listen carefully. Your daddy might not make it. If I die, you have to be strong, okay? No, you'll get better. The doctor's gonna make you better, so you're not gonna die. Stubborn and old-fashioned father. He believed endurance was a virtue. He never complained about anything. That's why I couldn't believe he actually said he might not make it. I tried desperately to deny his words. Even that wish wouldn't prolong his life. My father, knowing his time was limited, tried to tell me some important things. But I interrupted his efforts by crying like a baby. I just wanted him to slap me. Just like he used to do every time I cried like a baby. But he would never slap me again. Listen well. Your mother and I both lost all our family in the war. So, after I'm dead, there won't be anyone left to take care of you. You need to tell me that. My parents used to tell me that all the time, so I was aware of that fact. What? What kind of parents say, hey, if something bad happened to us, then, guess what? You're on your own, bucko. Just like someone, their parents, are, just raising them saying, always be wary of death. You never know. When something bad's gonna happen, you'll be left on your own. Why? The whole other thing is bad enough, but that? In other words, my father was the only relative I had left in this entire world. But your grandpa, though? We're going back and forth between this timeline of your life. If I die, you can count on Dr. Takano. Oh, it's not. Oh, blood related. Dr. Fumi Takano. Can you say it? Fumi Takano. That's right. Dr. Fumi Takano. He is my former teacher. He will help you. Daddy! 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 Many doctors came into the room in a hurry. He wanted to tell me something else, but the doctor stopped him from talking, so I wasn't able to hear him. That safe full of money is all hid away into the forest. The password is it's a wheels out room. I was kicked out of the room. I didn't know what to do. Nobody told me how my father was doing or when the surgery was going to start. Nobody told me that was going to be the last conversation I ever had with my father. Whoa. I think I asked people at the government office about Dr. Takano. Wait, was that a building industrial, building the gray walls and everything? That was a government office? They'd asked me if I knew his phone number. I said I didn't. Then they didn't ask me anything further. Sometimes they told me they'd look into it, but nothing led to anything. They couldn't find me a guardian, so I ended up going to an orphanage. At the time, there were plenty of orphans from the war. So, although there were many orphanages around, they were all full. Just sneak into one, don't worry. There are also some orphanages run by civilians. I was sent to one of those civilian orphanages. There was no profit to be had in taking in an orphan in the first place. So, I thought those civilians who were running orphanages must have been very good people. And next you're going to say they're actually horrible and the whole entire orphanages were tax write-offs, something like that, right? I was sure. I hoped the children would grow in this loving environment and enter society with a sense of gratitude. But reality isn't so kind. How many children in this world can actually express their gratitude towards their parents in the first place? Children are supposed to be nurtured by their parents' love. Therefore, when that environment is destroyed, their hearts are wounded. Every child has his or her own personality. Receiving affection doesn't guarantee that a child will become someone angelic. Not everyone's heart can be healed. That was why there were some problem kids in the orphanage. You're not my dad, pouts in the corner. But maybe I shouldn't call them problem kids, though. The sadness and despair of losing their parents, and the anger having to hide such feelings filled those kids' hearts. Spending time individually, the children could have solved their problems. But the orphanage where I was, none of the staff members even tried to spend time with them or put an effort to understand them. All they could do was make sure that the kids followed the rules. Yay. You're gonna say that the rules are absolute. Don't question them. Therefore, they can only see the children's emotional pleas for help as problems. In this world, nobody expresses love without expecting something in return. Oh, equivalency. Exchange, then. Like bartering, then. Yay. The person who founded the orphanage was expecting something in return as well. He wanted the children to appreciate him. This turned into a giant, like, the orphanage is actually a secretly a cult thing all over again. And man, I'm getting reminded again of one certain character's background, honestly. Into the game, we learn about, yay. That was why such a faint dream was destroyed by cruel reality. The children called the orphanage a prison, and nobody appreciated the staff at all. In fact, all I did was complain. Okay, so I did actually get it right. It was technically somewhat kind of a nursery, but it's actually an orphanage. A civilian orphanage with government looking at walls and doors and locked up areas. Okay. That made the staff slowly realize that love alone couldn't run a facility like that. Just like how the children called it a prison, the staff started to recognize that facility is a prison too. Yay, it's a prison for everyone involved, both the inmates and the guards running it. Yay, it's a prison on all sides for both of them. There's a chain reaction resulting from mistrust on both sides. The staff bound the children with rules so they could suppress problem behavior. The framed picture of the founder of this orphanage, I'd never seen him in person. Was he satisfied with the fact that he put his own money into this social service? Or maybe finally realized his dream of being surrounded by angelic children and being celebrated for what he did was simply that. A dream. Oh, it's one of those things, I gave you a house, I brought you into this world. If you don't appreciate all of that, then I can take in this world as soon as I brought you into it. But is that really just the philosophy this guy is going underneath? Or, the orphanage apparently you got involved in? Oh, yay. I don't know. But there's one thing I'm certain of. Such a dream didn't exist at the orphanage. There were so many rules and several plausible standards outlined for us. But the most valued one was silence. Children's chatter tends to increase each other's volume, just like mics drawing closer. And sometimes it leads to fights and disturbance of order. So, children were forbidden from speaking with each other. Oh yay, next thing they say that you can't make a lot of noise and eating too, even when you're being as silent as possible and eating everything in proper table manners speak, then apparently, right? With those disallowed, they must have thought things would go smoothly. However, I think I always heard people's voices in the orphanage. There are two kinds of voices. One was the staff yelling, the other was the children crying. We were not allowed to walk around inside the orphanage freely, so we never knew who it was that was crying. You're only allowed to sit in your own room then? Oh my god. One time, along with the crying and yelling, we heard the noise of metallic things being smashed against each other. We knew it was some kind of punishment, but there was no way for us to even imagine what it was. We trembled, pretended we didn't hear anything, and kept working on our assignments. Assignments? Do I want to know? One of my roommates told me it was the casket punishment. Okay. But she didn't tell me any further, and I didn't want to know either. Even if we behaved exactly the same way as yesterday, if the staff were in a bad mood, they might pick on us. So even if I didn't want to know, I might suddenly find out what the casket punishment is one day. The footsteps of a staff member were getting closer. We noticed them, so straightened our backs and pretended we were studying hard. It was more important the staff saw us doing so than us actually getting any work done. I noticed the girl next to me was falling asleep, so I poked her with my elbow. She noticed my signal and straightened her back like the other children. It was almost evening. This was the hardest time for us to keep ourselves awake, and the most dangerous time. How late into the night? The door to our room opened, and a mean-looking man showed up. He looked around to make sure none of us were falling asleep. Even if we were actually studying hard, if he thought we were asleep, we were out. That was a way to make sure we appeared to be studying very hard. The man walked around our desks. I hoped he would just walk by me. That was we all prayed, kept working at our homework. Okay. It's not like goddamn actual prison stuff. Yay, child labor, and yay, a child, working on, goddamn license plate stuff, or other stereotypical prison work stuff. The more we pretended we study hard, the more we could hear the sound of metal objects. The sound of metal objects crashing each other, along with screams. We couldn't even imagine what the poor subject of the punishment was going through. Maybe there was something even worse than the casket punishment. To raise such fears, we tried to concentrate even harder on our work. We kept working and working. The metal sounds and the screams went on forever. Oh. The only time we were allowed to exchange words with our roommates was right after turning the lights off to go to bed. Being located in the middle of the mountains, the orphanage was very quiet at night. After making sure the staff members were far enough from our room, we enjoyed talking amongst ourselves. That was the only leisure time allowed to us. Though it wasn't anything nice like enjoying pleasant conversation. Why? Because we mostly talked about others behind their backs. He spoke of things like, that member of staff is only strict or unfair and malicious towards this person, and so on. Likely dictating tips and tricks, honestly. Yeah, I don't blame him. When it goes to that level, honestly, you tend to have like your brain goes into a hot wired mode of what can I do to not set this person off? What's the best way? What part of the area in the building? Like what is this? This is floorboard creak, honestly, like that. Is there anything to alert anyone to my location? Don't stick out in a crowd. Don't stick out when people are in bad moods. Once things get to like that, you start thinking like that turns until for a long time. Even after you're out of location, honestly, you're out of that phase of life, honestly. Mm. We just repeated these topics forever until someone couldn't keep himself awake anymore. We even discussed how we could get back to the staff. We took revenge on all of them in our imagination. Some kids even started to cry when talking about it, difficult as it was for us. Although the subjects we spoke of were negative, talking about them was the only way to vent our frustration. Even though we felt despair about tomorrow, we were able to fall asleep. But sometimes, a different subject popped up. It was about the Yurigaoka House of Love and Mercy on the other side of the river. House of Love and Mercy? Yeah, over there. I heard they get not only nap time, but snack time too. Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense comparing other orphanages then. Plus, their president is a very nice person. The House of Love and Mercy was a privately run orphanage, just like the one I was at. Privately run. It was a very kind facility. Unlike ours, it seemed like a fantasy land compared to our current environment. A few years before, this place was a lot worse. A few children tried to escape. It was hard to believe there was a time this orphanage was even worse to live at. Supposedly, 3 or 4 people tried to escape. I don't know the exact number, though. They headed to the House of Love and Mercy. Their escape was a success, except for one unlucky child. They were able to get to the property of the House of Love and Mercy. I guess the staff can follow them to the other orphanage's property. In other words, the other facility's property had to be out of their jurisdiction. And back to here then. If a staff member comes here, stab them with a key, kick them in the shin, in the groin, or anything like that. If they're a woman, literally just punch in the boot, anything sensitive, and then bring them down. And then lockpick the way out. Break the door down. There's a fire extinguisher right there. Use it to fucking break the lock if you're that desperate. Do it. Do anything you can. The staff were frustrated that kids got away from them. They dragged the one they caught back here. I'm sure they wanted to bring back the others who got away from them too. I'm certain the staff were determined not to let a single one escape. It was easy to see the determination in the obstinate way they locked the place up after that event. How long ago was that? They never were able to bring back the ones that got away. No matter how much the staff were mortified, they couldn't reclaim the children and punish them. In other words, if you could make it to the House of Love and Mercy, then you could escape the evil clutches of this hell. On the other hand, the one that caught went through such misery afterwards. It's a giant gamble. Yet, the exact details of how he's punished were never passed down. All that remained were ominous phrases left by those who knew him at the time. The drowned ducky, the mashed caterpillar, the splayed piggy. Oh. I can't even imagine what kind of punishments they were. The only thing I can say is these punishments will just be far more harsh than the casket punishment, which was the most cruel punishment I knew at the time, or only vaguely knew. I can only imagine how horrible those punishments were from their ominous names. After that, the captured kid's wish came true, and he was able to leave the orphanage. Was he able to leave this orphanage safely and enjoy his freedom while breathing in fresh air into the blue sky? Or just left on, like, being to the edge of his life, honestly. With him, his legs and arms broken, he just tossed out to fucking die. Well, according to the rumors, that wasn't what happened at all. While he was playing in the boiler room, he slipped and fell, injured his brain, and died. The children were instructed not to go into the boiler room after that incident. Everyone knew the boiler room was always locked. So everyone knew he was killed. And not just that. He was killed after being tortured. He was killed to teach the other children that they would face hell on earth if they tried to escape. And those who faced that risk and made it out obtained ordinary, average lives full of love and mercy's namesake, which were far better conditions than we lived in here. Maybe the House of Love and Mercy was really heaven. Maybe the orphanages were pretty much the same. But compared to my orphanage, I bet anything else would have been better. Even if someone escaped successfully, the police would catch him. Then he would be sent right back to the orphanage, which would be pretty much the same as being killed. However, if he could reach the House of Love and Mercy, they'd take him in. They wouldn't send him back. By talking about escaping to the House of Love and Mercy, we were trying to forget how cruel reality was to us. Then one day, the leader of our group, Eriko, said just quietly, "Would you try to escape, if you had a chance to?" Who didn't want to escape from here? It was rather full of question. That wasn't what she meant. "We're gonna escape now. Get out of bed right now. I got a survival knife ready." If there was a chance to escape, would you take the chance, knowing what you had to go through if you got caught? That was what she meant. Not one of us can answer immediately. If the previous escape incident was a total success, then we might have thought differently. After that, the orphanage had tightened up security to prevent runaways. All the doors and windows were locked heavily, and it wouldn't be at all easy to get out. Even though a group escape was planned, the success rate would be very low. It's like a high-state, high-security penitentiary by this point. 3 escaped and only 1 was caught before. Maybe 2 would be caught next time. No, maybe everyone would be. If I could, I want to escape. But the House of Love and Mercy is so far away. The bridge is long too. The bridge? Well, I'll be caught before we get there. What, they have like fucking like bloodhound dogs, honestly, from everyone like it gets chased after all the kids. Besides, we can't even go outside. Everything is locked up. There are locks all over the orphanage. To escape, you need a key for both the inside and the outside. The outside? Like poking through the goddamn barred windows then, apparently, too? What the fuck kind of key system is this? This style to do that every single time they walk into a room, honestly? Okay. And after the lights are turned off, even each section of the hallway is individually locked. Make no mistake, this was a prison. According to the rumors, orphanages receive government funding depending on the number of children they house. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, honestly, the first time, honestly. Look at that, it's the tax write-offs. So if anyone escapes, they lose money. Well, I mean, if all the rumors technically are true, or, like, everyone believes that, and a staff member comes and, like, tries to do that, even if, like, all those rumors are all that case, and everything is bad, nothing can be as bad as being escaped, honestly, and being in my recommended like that, apparently, if everything's worse. So literally do everything in your power to, literally just, attack that one guy. That one person. That one woman. Whoever they are. Whoever they is. Extra bonus points if somehow the founder in the middle of the night is, watching everything else keeps trying to break through. It's like you can recognize them, go ham. Literally. Everyone all together now. So if anyone escapes, they lose money. Also, if we were to expose the conditions of the orphanage, they would end up being inspected, and things would get complicated for them. It's, yes, another thing is someone actually, like, let word that the orphanage actually is bad, but, for the sound of it, either the kids who went to, House of Love and Mercy, either actually, they are actually being fine, they never decide to, send anyone back, or literally, they also met a horrible fate. The only reason, things went better for them is because, we don't know anything bad happened to them. So, yeah. Maybe the namesake is actually just a lie. Eh. They would end up being inspected, and things would get complicated for them. That was why they were so intent on keeping us locked up. I mean, sure, if there was a chance I would want to escape. But realistically, there's no way we could. Every door is locked. Well... Did you know? The hen house in the courtyard use the same key as the door to the back stairs. Oh? Really? Shh! Eriko shushed us. Sometimes, mass-produced locks take the same key. If, like, the same doorknob, honestly, there's a padlock, then yeah, technically sometimes. Oh boy. Of course, most places use different types of locks, so this won't happen. But the staff of the orphanage must have overlooked it. So, there were 2 locks that used the same key at the orphanage. However, most of us never had a chance to even touch the keys. But there were a few exceptions, sneaking into the break room lounge for all the keys and all that, or use like a clay. But there were a few exceptions. One of those was the hen house. Each room group took turns taking care of different chores. If your group was assigned to clean the hen house, you had to get a key to it from the teacher's office. You were supposed to return a key immediately after you were done. While taking care of the hen house, the key was in the children's hands. While staff would occasionally come around to check, they couldn't keep an eye on us forever. Missing this exact time, either you stole the key to wait tonight, or you thought to leave in the middle of the day. Erika-chan, you aren't thinking about using that key, are you? No, let's not. It's too dangerous. Of course it's dangerous. There's only one of us. It's different if we're all in a group. Wait, why? Do you know why only one kid was caught the last time they tried to escape? You left for dead. They were desperate. And so to escape as a group, they did something to increase the chance of success. That was why only one of them was caught. Oh, it's literally just them in the horror trope. Just be fast and the slowest person in the group. What do they do? They scattered as they ran. They dashed in different directions. That can work too. They waited till the day when there were only a few people working the orphanage and ran this way and that. Zigzag. And so, although it all depended on luck, it would increase the chance of success for sure. On your own, you'd probably have no hope. With the staff were to chase after other children, then your own chance of escaping successfully would increase then. In other words, Eriko was inviting us to escape with her. The more the children joined, the more each of our chances would increase. But among us, there were children who touted to the staff for their own benefit, so she had to be very careful who she talked to. Erika must have trusted us a lot. Eriko, me, Tomomi, and Kikuko. So, You had 3 people in your group when going to the door, so either one of you ratted out, or one of them hide and hid before, or they chickened out. Aptly named before going to the hen house. 4 children. Do any of you want to stay here a day longer? The 3 of us shook our heads. At the same time, we couldn't agree to escape with her either. Of course we don't want to stay here any longer, or even a day longer, or even an hour longer. But if we did exactly the same thing as we did yesterday, we might get yelled at tomorrow. I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand living in fear of what to do and what not to do so I won't be yelled at. We all feel the same way. We could endure strict rules. It was almost impossible to endure vague ones. It wasn't too much of a stretch to say that the rules depended on the mood of the staff. This is okay. That isn't okay. Such borderline rules change daily. If we're to say anything about that, we'd be treated horribly for it. I'll escape. You don't have to do it alone. Like I said, more people that join, the better our chance. Think about it. If they find out about this henhouse key trick, they're sure to change the lock in the back door. In other words, we only have one chance. Did they change the lock, or was the rumor false to begin with? So even if you regret not joining in later, it'll be too late. Or she just didn't know how to actually operate a lock then, apparently. Okay, in distress, okay. But, oh, I'm scared. I'm scared too. If we get caught, we'll be killed. Tomomi and Kikuko weren't the only ones who felt afraid. The fear is perfectly understandable. Because all of a sudden, the fear of the punishment that would follow had become very realistic. I'm sure Eriko felt the same way too, but her courage was suppressing her fear, bravery. Because of that, she shared her idea with us. So, do you plan to stay here forever? No way! I know you're scared. This is the only chance we have. You have to be brave, just this once. What about you, Miyoko? Don't you want to go with me? Unlike Tomomi and Kikuko, I wasn't trembling that much. Of course, I was scared in my own way, but compared to the other two, it must have appeared rather calm. Can we really escape? Of course, Eriko couldn't guarantee our success. Nothing's exactly 100%. But I had to ask her anyway. There's no guarantee. But if you join me, I have a better chance of escaping than trying to run on my own. Of course, the same goes for you too. Eriko gave a calculated reason. I'm sure she just wanted a friend to agree with her. That was probably more important to her than increasing her chances to escape. Tomomi, Kikuko, if you're too scared, then I won't force you. Miyoko and I will escape ourselves. 2 is enough. Well... Eriko rushed the 2 to make up their minds. Almost looked cold, but that was her way of mustering their courage. Honestly, this whole thing with, that makes a lot of sense, yeah. Because it was very possible that, regardless of the outcome of our escape attempt, as our roommates, those 2 would be held responsible. It's not like we'll do it tomorrow. Our turn to take care of the hen house is in a week. We'll wait for the perfect time to do it. If we don't feel that it's safe, then we'll wait until our next turn. We'll be very careful. The rotation of the staff and the timing were important, but we also each had to know the way to the House of Love and Mercy. We're planning to split up, so we had to know the area. Someone get an atlas out and we'll plan out a trajectory. I made up my mind. Well, you can use a great old studying, honestly, to learn about my geographical stuff, so look at that. You can use all that to your advantage. Okay, I'm coming with you, but let's time our escape very carefully, okay? Of course. We'll be killed if we get caught. I don't want to die. I'll come too. Me too. Tomomi and Kikuko agreed, and so we all decided to escape as a group. Who's tricked up and left behind, then? We waited for the perfect opportunity. We waited for the day where only a few staff members were at the orphanage. We decided to let God take care of the rest. And yeah, here it is. Ah, it's open! Okay, it's the key actually did work. Maybe it's the way I did it. Oh, is this the way to the hen house door or the back stairway? Eriko tried to open the lock several times without success, but I got to open my first attempt. That's the power of that's the mom power on hand, honestly. Where you can't find anything in your room, and I'm like, Mom, I can't find anymore. And then she looks like, what is that over there? And just magically it materializes out of nowhere. That's this. That's what this is. This is true superpower. The back door opened slowly. I felt a cool breeze. This wasn't the world of freedom just yet. In fact, it was the exact opposite. The staff were to find out why we were here. We would be in big trouble. It was a world of danger. But unless we went through that dangerous world, we wouldn't be able to go any further. Okay. Let's go. I think Eriko wanted to say that. Cool action movie phrase. We were planning to leave with that as our cue. But what we heard instead was in Eriko's voice. What are you kids doing here? Stab him in the eyes! Leave! Run! We said to run. It was raining. We all got soaked immediately, and our clothes stuck to our skin. Well, that would normally be very uncomfortable. We couldn't even stop to think about that. We could only keep running in the rain. We were dashing on gravel. It felt more like trudging through a muddy rice field. My feet kept sinking and I couldn't pull them up. I was frustrated because no matter how fast I tried to run, I wasn't getting any speed. I felt a sense of urgency. I heard someone yelling, "Escape!" behind me. All I could do was run like crazy. Okay, everyone, go in different directions. Come on, scatter! With Eriko's cue, we all went different ways. Probably they wouldn't be coming after us. Would we be able to reunite safely at the House of Love and Mercy? All four of us there together? Or maybe someone would be missing. I hope Eriko still makes it there. No, maybe everyone else would make it. And I'd be the one who gets caught. My thoughts were interrupted by the voice of a staff member coming from behind me. Kick him in the shins, the nards, go after it, do anything. Whoa. Hold it! Wait, hold it right there! Fuck you, mister, no! The staff members should have numbered fewer than us. So I was lucky they wouldn't be coming after me. Hearing the staff voices I heard in the distance weren't after me, I looked back for a moment. If I had turned around, why didn't I take another step forward? Why didn't I try to escape further? I turned around and felt a huge hand come my face. Bite the fucking hand. Everything. Its pinky finger slipped into my open mouth. Bite down. The hanger on my face shoved me into the muddy gravel. Of course I didn't stay quiet. I fought back. I saw his face. It was the scariest face I'd ever seen. I realized it immediately. He only wanted to catch me, alive to use me as an example. And considering what happened to me afterwards, killing me here in the spot wouldn't pose any problem, would it? Yes. He looked at me with unworldly hate for ending my life here and now. That just means if your life is forfeit at this point, then his technically is too by your hands then. His pinky finger ended up touching my tongue. Indescribably nasty tastes and icky feeling through my whole body. Bite down, like a carrot, right now. Ah, that's it! This is what my murder tastes like. He's gonna shove the finger down my windpipe and suffocate me. So to live, I fought back in the only way I could. Ah! Something warm filled my mouth. Yes, you did it. Good. Good job. I felt like swallowing blood or a nosebleed. I spit it from my mouth and ran without turning around, leaning behind the staff member clutching his pinky finger. Good. You little shit! Damn you! I'll kill you! I heard his roars echoing behind me. It wasn't a man that was after me. It was a beast. He had no interest in capturing me now. His only goal was to see me dead. My shoes had slipped off. They weren't sneakers. As I came up easily, I was running around like mad. Like sandals or like slippers? Oh, good God. My bare feet struck the gravel over and over. It was painful. I didn't care. Because if I stopped, I knew what would happen to me. Winding through all the trees and shrubbery and bushes. Whoa. Tree branches cut my face and barbed wires scratched my thighs. This all familiar territory, but this is technically back from in the Great War. This is not present day. from the sound of it. Unless some secret war, apparently, don't know. Tree branches just cut my face and barbed wires scratched my thighs. My feet and toes were bloody from running on gravel. The blood from the stemmer's pinky finger dripped down from my mouth, staining my chin and chest. I guess a little trophy then. I was running for my life, with scratches and cuts all over my body. If I were to get caught, I would be killed. My pursuer had any sense, I would be killed after being tortured. If he didn't, I would be killed on the spot. I don't want to be killed. I don't want to be killed. I don't want to be killed! My lungs and heart were about to explode. My mind was blank from fear and lack of oxygen. I was about to lose consciousness. I might have given in, if I didn't hear the voice of the step member coming after me. My knees were shaking. My legs wouldn't move properly. I felt like I was going to fall like a puppet with the strings cut. I couldn't fall. I couldn't fall just yet. It was too late. My face hit the gravel. I felt the awful sensation of falling. And immediately after, the roar of the beast coming from behind me. Gravel, hit in the face, cut at the dies. Damn you, my finger! My finger! Ah! Oh, was that your original name? Oh, you were adopted then. I must have hit my thigh against the steering wheel when I jumped. I can feel a throbbing pain, delayed slightly. I'm sweating all over. I rubbed the sweat on my forehead and put my hand on my chest, only then realizing how fast my heart was beating. I rubbed my thigh. I rubbed it in a straight line. That's not where I hit the steering wheel, but I feel like this is where it hurts. I can't see a scary beast in the moonlit car. I had my shoes on, and I covered in blood. My toes are fine too. Someone knocked on the window, startling me. Major, it's time. Oh. Thank you. I want to take a nap, so I told him to come wake me up in an hour. Maybe an hour was too long. Too long a nap actually makes you tired. Yes, it does. Wow, I can't believe we're getting actual backstory from you. Like, I knew we were gonna get something for, like, learning about it, but I wasn't thinking that was gonna be the opening to the story, but that's interesting. I put my seat back up and got out of the car. The cool breeze feels good on my skin. I only see the moon. There's nothing else to see in this mountain trail. My car and a command vehicle disguised as a trailer are parked at the side of the street. I can still feel that bad taste in my mouth. I spat out inside the street. But even that couldn't get rid of it. The taste of blood, saliva, and rain slipped my forehead and raindrops got into my mouth that I couldn't swallow, so I ended up drooling. That sensation around my lips brought back memories. I tried to wipe my mouth. Whoa. Whew. Why did you try to change your name then to why did you, like, I can understand like why you changed your last name to Takano for I guess the person took you in when you finally got hold of him, assuming after that. But why change your name back to Mio unless it's all a code name then? And then why use a code name as technically someone who's like part of the well, I guess it makes sense for the Tokyo. You're taking ideology and like research from someone from there, I guess. I guess it kinda makes sense. Sort of, but still. Whew. Maybe I'm nervous. That's why I had such a bad dream. I think there's a coffee machine in the command vehicle. In this giant old factory freight truck, yay. An unpleasant cup of coffee will wake me up. French vanilla coffee. Latte. Get it. It's good. The complicated machinery stuff. So? Has anything happened yet? No. Not yet. Exactly when does this take place? I thought from the knock in the window, honestly, it was back again from, I guess, the whole thing with her plan swapping her body out, but for the sound of it, apparently, the headlights thing and knocking the window thing is really just, I guess, covert communication stuff when they want to talk in person, then. which makes sense. So what are they here for right now? What time are we, honestly? Are we still in the 80s? Not yet. We just got Gifu's scheduled check-in. Gifu's scheduled check-in. Everything is okay over there. I see. Hey, can someone make me a cup of coffee? Sure. Cream and sugar? Just cream, please. Can't get the bloody taste in my mouth. Oh, no. Please, put in some sugar, too. I still have a bad taste in my mouth. Extra sugar. The feeling of biting and crushing his little finger and his filthy blood filling my mouth. I'm sure so your cup of coffee will wash down that bad taste and also wake me up from my nightmare completely. Yay, backstory time. Well, even after everything, I still hope he got out of the orphanage from everything else. Huh. The House of Love and Mercy achievement. Experience a memory of escape. And from the looks of it, either we're not going to get tips or slowly going to be okay. That's new. That background is actually new then. So we're not going to get like a tips just quite yet, honestly. Or it's just going to slowly be trickled in, just like explain some smaller things, honestly, all throughout, like how the tips usually are. And definitely going to be interesting that unless how the framing for this is going to be, that the finale just back and forth between I guess Rika breaking out of the loop, and learning more about Takano's backstory, or at least how she operates, and the Mountain Dogs. I mean, literally, it's the MD, the Mountain Dogs, following along with a literal MD, Doctor of Medicine, technically Nurse Takano, but still, it works. It works wonders here. Fun wordplay, honestly. So I'm assuming that after like she fell down, she managed to somehow either like from the looks of it. Oh good god! Like from the looks of it, if we can assume that all those backgrounds are not just being reused for like the woods chase and actually is taking place like farther away from Hinamizawa, honestly, from the assumption of that, and well, we never actually learned if Takano or like in this case Miyoko or like let's go with like I guess her new name now anyway, just Mio, honestly. Then Oh, is actually Mio just just her nickname? Honestly, that everyone just uses. Like it's Miyoko, huh? If that was a weird code name, then you kind of chose a shit code name thinking about it. But yeah, but maybe like depending on it, if or not, if those backgrounds actually are going to Himizawa's woods and all that, and those are not just just recycled stuff just from backgrounds and CG and stuff like that. Where she fell technically is right nearby to where the Sonozaki house is, and she technically got help from them and got away from there, and then got in contact with this director Takano, and then everything went from there. And now she's planning to kill the entire town. I'm just wondering now exactly what made her have a giant vendetta then, because I don't think we learned anything about orphanages or anything like that, and around the location. Hmm. I'm just now wondering if there's any, I guess, more extensive stuff along with the town, and I guess make the connection of why she would hate, I guess, the entire town even more. I guess I'm not fruitful, honestly. We're gonna keep going with the beginning of this installment's metaphor, honestly, with the tossing seeds and I guess the whole ideological metaphor as well. So, did she come in contact with someone from the town before becoming like growing up to be a nurse? And then all that, and then taking this path, the secret agency stuff, or literally just because of like this whole thing with the orphanage in the past, then she's technically pulling really just pulling a Mikon, just Mikon Sumiki, just going to the nurse profession because she realized that after living her almost her like all her childhood realizing and she doesn't have power or anything else, she can now use this power against other people. You know, I think that's part of Mikon's I guess personality from the game from DR2 games and trigger free time events. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. She's a good character though, but it's the first thing I compare honestly right now, especially to that. That's for the whole I guess psychopath to nurse thing I got from when I said that. Getting intrigued from Mikon's free time events, then learning like more about I guess that whole thing honestly. So she could have learned and I guess got a vendetta from the town one way or another, or literally just because she somehow like I guess got hold of whether she's put on track from the assignment and like the whole plan from the very beginning was like researching the the Hinamizawa disease all the way from the war, and then deciding after a single point that she technically sowed discord or like was she joined the side of discord of one of the Tokyo side factions, decided to blow the entire project up in everyone's face. Well, I guess the larger Tokyo headquarters, I guess, faced anyway, and decided to take along with it just her own little pride into the pot, honestly, make Shirosama and like make it her legacy from what I guess Hifumi Takano technically like, instilled in her. Whether it was good or bad, I probably need to check everything out again because it can be both ways. It can be seen as very much more don't worry, your legacy will be living on and for years to come, after your death, don't worry about it. The way she kept phrasing it by the end of we be granted eternity and eternal reverence and all that. Then she's twisting them, or like either she's twisting them around himself in her own head, or technically he was literally from the outside just teaching her weird stuff. Absolutely. And I guess now thinking about it, maybe if like like the war was like I guess that big around the time, and like her parents actually like still brought up the whole thing of like both your parents could die. Well, it doesn't make sense for like I can understand why a dad would, but like why the mom? Again, I just get weirded out because there's if you're like teaching a kid like like I guess be scared to death for that while, like I keep bringing it up honestly, you're just I don't even know what the fuck you're even doing then if you keep making constant comparisons. This entire thing of just like I'm scaring some kids like being obedient because the boogeyman get all that, which it's fine honestly. Even now like it's just fine honestly, but like doing the whole thing of just like threatening death and like keep bringing up death and just that that one line she just like brought about her dad like I guess raising her just irks me quite a lot. Don't need to say anything else more about I guess a slap or anything like that, but hmm. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. So, well, it's gonna be interesting to see, I guess, more Mio's backstory, or the very least, if we don't get like more technically of her backstory back, then at least how things are operate, how she, I guess, maybe operates inside with the mountain dogs, and how maybe she learned to like got into Tokyo or whatever have you, and see the same time how both sides technically end up clashing, and I guess how things end off until there. It'll be a fun way to see how this all concludes for the finale for this series, honestly, before the epilogue comes around. Oh boy, excited. Gonna be looking forward to it then. But I guess we'll see how this whole finale will continue off. Oh, starting with this next time. So, for a fun time watches, I am playing this. Hope to see you next time, the time that may be. And I hope you fantastic day.